In the past, I shot a video on how to breed rabbits, and I had 256,000 views on it, and then YouTube said, hey, this has sexual content, and they took me off the internet. They took the video down. So today, we're going to try to be a little more careful, and we're going to try to make sure we do it in a way that YouTube is okay with it. But I'm going to show you some things. I know that one of the most frustrating things is to be able to figure out how to get your rabbits to breed. And if you take and put a doe with a buck and all they do is sit there and do nothing, it can be quite frustrating. And anyone that's been breeding rabbits for very long knows what I'm talking about. But today, we're going to go ahead and, if you see the snow on the ground, it's cold. Now, there are times it's easier to get rabbits to breed, and there are times it's more difficult to get rabbits to breed. And in the heat of the summer and the cold of the winter are going to be some of the more difficult times. But if we want to keep our production up for rabbits and want to continue having babies year-round, you have to figure out how to breed in the wintertime. I'm sure you guys have all want to breed rabbits, and you stick your doe in the buck's cage and nothing happens. Today I want to talk just a little bit about breeding rabbits. Now, anyone that's raised rabbits very much has had the opportunity to stick a doe in with the buck and to watch nothing happen. You'll see the doe curl up in the corner. You'll see the buck chase the doe around. Eventually the buck will stop. Nothing happens. And I've been there too. I think we've all been there. And it can be discouraging at times in doing it. Well, I'm no different. When I stick my doe in with my buck and nothing happens, it's frustrating. And it happens more than any of us want to admit, which is what makes this video something that many of you will be watching. Right now, if you see that white stuff on the ground, yeah, we're embarking upon winter. Some of you probably don't have snow on the ground yet, but for me, it's been cold, and it's been cold for a month. Last night it hit 6 degrees. We have had babies born at 5 and 10 degree weather. Well, today I want to talk a little bit about how to breed rabbits, specifically when you're in a time where it's cold. And so I'm going to show you some things that I do to be able to get my rabbits to breed. But if you can't keep your rabbits breeding throughout the wintertime, that slows your meat production down substantially. And so it's important to be able to figure out how to breed not just during the prime times of the year, not just at the ultimate time, but we want to be able to breed in the middle of the wintertime, in the middle of the summertime, at any time. We always want the breeding taking place because we always want baby rabbits. I'm going to go through and I'm going to show you some rabbits, and we're going to go through and we're going to do some breeding. Now, this is wintertime, so it is a little bit more difficult to get rabbits to breed this time of year. One of the things I do is I will keep them in a barn, a shed. I've even taken and I've put canvas up over the entrance to try to keep it warm, and I can throw a heater in there, which will help a lot through the wintertime. Even with that said, you're going to find some of my rabbits that will be more receptive and some that are less receptive. A rabbit being around a buck will cause the rabbit to ovulate and to go into heat about 12 hours later. So we expect some of both, and hopefully we'll get to see a successful breeding today. But we're going to at least try, and we're going to go see if we can get some rabbits to breed for us today. As you can see from the weather outside, we're not dealing with prime conditions to breed. But if you're wanting to have your rabbitry continue to produce meat year-round, you've got to be able to breed rabbits year-round. We're going to be going through and we're going to be breeding some rabbits. That way we can have meat throughout the year. This doe right here, we always take him to the buck's cage. She should just, for the first few seconds, be docile. I'm going to put her with a very experienced buck, one that knows what he's doing, and he usually can get the job done before she realizes where she's at. And so it's good to have an extremely experienced buck. Now, given it's wintertime, it is cold, and so we do it in a barn. It gives us a little bit of an edge. Before I had a barn, I used to take him in the house and do it just a little bit, but we're taking him in the barn here. What a cute rabbit. You excited for your date? I know your boyfriend is. He said, I'm excited for a date. Anyway, we're going to see what we can get done here. I'm going to flip the camera around so you can see me put the doe in. And hopefully what we can experience is a very quick, successful mating. We'll see how it goes. Now, there are times instead of getting the response that we hope for, this is what we get. And see the buck, he's in there trying, and she's docile, but she's not lifting. She's not really receptive. We're all faced at times where we put the buck in with the doe and with the buck, and what we get's nothing. And it gets discouraging. A rabbit, it goes into heat by being in with the buck. So if she's not with a buck, she's not likely to be in heat. We leave them with a buck for some time, put them back in, and we should see a better success rate on it. If you leave them together for a period of time, she'll warm up, and it actually will cause her to ovulate and cause her to go into heat, and then there's a successful mating. Sometimes what we'll do is we'll have to pull the doe out, and we'll have to put the doe back in after a short period of time. But we're going to give them some time to warm up and get to know each other and be cozy for just a little bit. One of the key elements to be successful in breeding rabbits is to be able to have an extremely good buck. And I'm not talking about just a high quality buck. I'm also talking about having one that knows what he's doing, one that's assertive, and one that goes after it, one that gets it done. Stick the doe in the cage. If a buck knows what he's doing, he will get it done, and he will do it fast. If he takes time, sometimes it doesn't happen, and that turns into a little bit of a frustration. This right here is a buck that's just turning 6 months old. I'm going to be honest, he's going to be an awesome buck. Absolutely love the conformation, love the way he looks, but I'm choosing to wait to breed with him right now because he's still young. I choose not to breed with my rabbits until they're at least 6 months of age. I know they can get the job done before then. One thing that I have found helps a lot with breeding rabbits is if you have a buck that's quite aggressive. When he knows what he wants and he goes after it, you get the job done, and it works a lot better. So I don't breed with my rabbits until they're old enough that they really know what they're doing. And I'm taking her, she's gonna go to the buck's cage. She'll do a little bit better there. The moment she goes in, I expect to be able to put her in with the buck, and I expect for her to be paused like just a second of a hesitation, see what's going on. Now the buck is a very experienced buck. It's one that's bred before, he knows what he's doing, and I expect him to do something relatively fast. He does it before she gets her bearings set, and we have a successful mating right off the bat. So let's go see if we can make that happen. Mama, take a look right here. It's been a few days, and I'd like to see how they're doing. So we're gonna just get in here and take a look. We can see plenty of movement, so we know they're in there and doing good. Now how fat that belly is. Mama is doing good. Oh my goodness. Look at these babies. I am impressed. Yes, I am. But she's doing so fantastic. And this is a first-time mom. So anyway, we're gonna get them covered back up so that they can stay warm in here. There we go. So we'll let them get back there. But Mom is doing good. Now the only way Mom can do that good is if we make sure she has good fresh water. And that means in the wintertime too. So I've got to be a little bit more careful in making sure she's got fresh water than if she didn't have babies. So this right here, the ice, we can take and we dump the ice out. It dumps out pretty easy. And then I just take this and we put it back in here. So I like that for... Now, when I put this in here and I clip it in, I'm not gonna take and fill it completely full of water. I'm just gonna put just enough water in there that she can drink it. But then tomorrow, when it comes time to giving her water, all I have to do is put some water on top of it and it'll melt it. So, and we don't have to fill it very cold at all. I just put some water in there for her to drink. That way she can go through and she can have fresh water for her babies.